Brother Bolu,
Yes, sir.
give us your think. I want you to think, let's say 10, 15 years from now. Where do you see Africa?
If nothing changes, if we don't move for what we are doing now, well, Africa will be 10 years. It's not going to be too nice, too rosy. For instance, I'm also many of us. I think Nigeria, as much as Ghana, we inherited colonial education. And our curriculum has not been so changed. Because I'm happy you mentioned the issue of cocoa, because it also affects Nigeria as much as it affects Ghana.
Yeah.
Now, because we have to change our education. An average farmer, an average farmer grows a cocoa. There should be some guys, okay, I buy this cocoa off, I will process it. I will process it, some into making tea, some into chocolate. Since I'm the primary owner of the primary, I'm the real owner of the primary product, I should be the one selling chocolate to the world. I was telling, there was a show I was using an example that, look, I feel very sad when I'm traveling back home and I stop over at Amsterdam and I go to a chocolate store and I spend huge amount of money to buy chocolate, because even if you don't buy, when you get to Lagos, they say, why is our chocolate?
Yes.
You didn't bring me chocolate. So, and I always shake my head and say, my God, how long will Africa be like this? I think if you don't wake up from our slumber, if you don't have a change of mindset, if you don't rejig our educational system, if we don't change our curriculum to make our education more functional, if we don't address education, if we don't use education as a tool to address our problems, in 10 years' time we'll be worse than we are now. Okay. It is very sad. I'm not a prophet of doom.
That is,
but it's a very sad reality.
A sad indictment.
Well, yes, if that statement will wake us up, and if we don't do things differently, that's no we are not going to get different results.
Of course.
But if we are ready, it's okay. Enough is enough. Enough of this vicious cycle. Let us start doing things. You know, I wrote a poem there about the sleeping visionaries. In Nigeria, there was this vision 2020. Then they said, okay, Nigeria will become the 20th, the biggest 20. One of the big 20 economies in the world by the year 2020. We thought that 2020 was going to be like forever. 2020 is now in the past, and nothing happened. I wrote the book in 2019, so I said, okay, the 2020 we are looking for is almost here, and nothing has been achieved. So it's the same thing. 10 years is not an eternity. Before you know it, it's 10 years already.
But you know why that is so? A lot of times we make projections, but once it's done, we don't take the time to make sure that the timeline, okay, we want to do this in 20 years. So for the first 5 years, this has to happen. The next 10 years, this will happen. Once we get the main framework, everybody goes.
But that framework, if it is not realistic, I always tell people, I mean, as an accountant, I've participated in budgeting process for so long a time with people. I said, look, there was a time I was leading a budget committee procedures, and I was asking some questions. They said, okay, the marketing department brought very gigantic amount of money they could make. And I asked them the simple question. I said, okay, what you want to generate now is like times 3 of what generated last year. What was the magic? And they said, okay, actually they could have generated that same thing last year, but then because then the management then did not listen to them. I told them, excuse me, what management? The only thing that changed was that they changed the MD. Only the MD changed. So you guys are not part of management.
It's not centered on the MD alone.
And that's okay, fine. I don't want to disrespect your opinion, I accept it. It's okay. Fine, let's keep that aside. Production department. I want to give us the capacity of all your machines one by one. What you can achieve per hour, what you can achieve per week. Then what is your... Don't forget to include the shutdown time for maintenance and everything.
Yeah, downtime.
Somebody looks and say, look, hey, excuse me, you are wasting our time. If we are doing this, we are not going to get out of here. I say, oh really?
They're not thinking ahead.
So if you don't get this foundation right, it's very easy to assemble figure.
Yes.
I mean, as an accountant, I know it is easy. And we call it incremental budgeting. Oh, add 20%, add 30%, and boom, you already got in your figure. But are those figures realistic? So I insisted. By the time they brought out the production capacity, you discover that they cannot produce 40% of what the marketers say they can sell. So where are they going? Then I ask the question, okay, since we don't have ability to produce this up to 40%, more than 40%, are we going to buy new equipment? If we are going to buy new equipment, how many new staff are we going to recruit? Or okay, if you cannot, are we going to outsource the production of the 60%? If you are doing that, how do we maintain quality, the same quality? Then what will be the charge out rate? I was asking all these questions, and many of the people were angry with me. So at a point in time, they said, okay, we know what you are trying to do is good, but we continue, but let us just get something done that we can manage with. Unfortunately, they couldn't go far.
Because we want instant gratification.
You have to live.
That's how we do
you don't build a house without laying the foundation properly.
Yes.
You have to lay the foundation.
A lot of times when a project comes that we have to work on, the black man, myself included, we see, oh yes, I can just do this. Oh yeah, we start working. Somebody else would sit down, look at the whole process, look at it on a multi-dimensional scale. How do I do this? Can I use some leverage, some implements, to make it go quicker? So okay, we want to move this soil from here to that side. Okay, if I hire people to carry it on their head, someone to shovel it, push it in, how many people can I use? How many can I pay them?
And how many hours will it take for them to finish?
Somebody will take some time, sit down. Now, let me invest into some conveyor belts. Let me do this, do that. Get this thing together. Then they crank it up. They start rolling the whole soil from here to there. Just boom, boom, boom. It will take about a week or two to plan this thing. You started hauling your stuff, carrying over your head. The moment it's done, 2-3 hours, it's done all the work that you've done in 3-4 days. And now he's going ahead of you. So, we need to plan, look at things that are very realistic, and then think outside the box. We like this. We're too complacent with mediocrity.
Very sad.
Very, very sad. And those are the things, that's why I said, for those of us who have the capacity to write, we have these cogent ideas, we need to put them in print for others to read, think about it, so that we can all move together. Because the status quo is not working for us.
It's not. Definitely it's not working.
And I know that we have so much intelligence to be sitting down and marking time on these petty things. And then we talk ad nauseum about the same problems over and over again.
Yeah, we have to change our attitude, our overall attitude. We have to know that the result of what we did in the past is not encouraging. So, and it will still not be encouraging in the future. What we are doing today, if we don't do it differently, if we don't do something differently, we have to change our orientation. We have to say, look, hey, we have problems. We have to recognize that we have problems, and we have to be ready to fix it. We have to be ready to make the sacrifice. Just like the example of cocoa farming. In those days, when you want to go into cocoa farming, you know that it will take about 5 years before you have your first
crop to come out. The
your
yield.
first harvest.
Yeah.
So you have to devise how do you survive for 5 years.
Mhm.
So you have to have, I mean, I've written a lot about all these things. You have to devise means of surviving, you know, planting here and there, cocoyam.
While waiting for the bus.
While waiting for the... But now, after the first season, some people, what would they do? Some buy cars, some buy build house, which is still good. Some will marry more wives.
Mm-hmm.
And produce more children, which they cannot send to school. I believe if we wake up, it's not too late for us to catch up.
We should.
But we have to work extra diligently.
Yeah.
More than ever before.
Yeah.
And if we can get it, can do that, we can still get it right. It is not over for us, but if we are not careful, we may just continue to shortchange ourselves.